about hair growth is you can shift and pivot and start to see a change almost immediately. And the most immediate change you can see is by changing your routine. So everyone asks, when you see somebody with long hair, what's your routine? What do you do? No matter what it is, there's 3 core elements to a routine, and figuring out how it works best for you is the way you're going to get your hair to grow, because everybody is a little different. So if you're new to Curlogic or you're new to my channel, I'm Daisha. So hello and welcome. Be sure to click on subscribe and the notification bell right next to it if you're interested in getting information about taking care of and growing curly hair. The first part of a routine, of course, is to cleanse and condition your hair. The technique is super important. So when you wash your hair, you want to make sure that whatever technique you're using, you're not creating tangles. And put it in 4 sections first. So if your hair is thicker than mine, you may need to put it into 8, 12, whatever the case may be, but at least put it in sections and then douse each individual section really, really well. Now, if you're high porosity, the dousing part may only take about a couple of minutes, but if you're low porosity like me, that whole dousing process probably takes about 10 to 15 minutes to get your hair completely soaked. The biggest thing is to make sure you're cleaning your scalp. So what I do is I put the shampoo directly on my scalp and massage that into my scalp and holding my hair at the end, so this way it's not getting tangled. And then as I make sure my scalp is getting really clean, I'm not tangling my hair, and then start to work down and massage the rest of the hair shaft. As I'm doing it, I'm separating it a little bit to kind of help detangle, but I'm very careful to not detangle it because I want to save my detangling for when I've got the coating of conditioner in it, because then I'm saving my strands. Now when I put the conditioner in, I layer the conditioner on, and when I say layer it on, I may want to say it differently. So when I do the conditioner, I want to make sure that the conditioner is in each and every strand of my hair. And while I'm working that conditioner through and putting it into separate pieces, that's when I'm also detangling it. But then to get the conditioner in, and I'm adding some water to it. That water helps to make it it doesn't lather exactly, but you hear like a like a squishy sound, and I'm great with sound effects, so yeah, hopefully that helps. This technique works really well for me, and I have almost no shedding when I wash and condition my hair because this is what I do. I don't pick up a brush, I don't pick up a comb. Now everyone's different, but I don't touch them. I am very protective of my strands. I want to be that 90-year-old lady with a head full of thick hair that's going down to her butt. Now, knowing me in my life, I'll probably end up cutting it, but I like to know that that's an option. I don't sit under a dryer just because I can't sit still for that long. So instead, I use a towel. So I make sure my shower cap is on because I don't want that towel directly onto my hair because it's gonna soak up the product, it's gonna frizz up my curl a bit, so I keep the shower cap on. I put boiling hot water on the towel, but not enough so it's drippy wet. I just wanna make sure the towel is damp. Wrap it around, slap another shower cap on top, slap a bigger towel over top of it, and then I rock that for about good 20, 30 minutes or so. It may seem like it's a bit much, but all of that helps the heat to stay in, and it gives me the same benefit as if I sat under the dryer. The second step to a good routine is moisturizing. So sometimes people feel like, okay, well, I've just washed and conditioned it, I put in leave-in, I'm good to go with my product. You've got to put some moisture in your hair, because while the conditioner does have moisturizing elements and the styling products has moisturizing elements, you need something that's gonna really act as a foundation to penetrate the hair strands and keep it moisturized for 7 days, and then put the product on top. So I use what I call the loco method. On soaking wet hair again, leave-in conditioner, oils that moisturize, cream, and then oils that seal. Get that leave-in conditioner in, spray it in, squeeze it on, whatever it is, work it out really well, get it into each section, and then after that, put on the oils that moisturize. I want to say it's probably about 15 to 20 drops of oil that I'm putting in. I put avocado, I add in baobab, and add in marula. Now, you can also use olive oil. The oils take a little bit more doing to get into my hair, so it does take some, you know, massaging and understanding to get in, but it does get absorbed in my hair. You want to stay away from the oils that seal. So the oils that seal have to be the last step, because if you put them on right now, all you're sealing in is you're sealing in leave-in conditioner and water. That's not enough for curly hair. Curly hair needs a bit more moisture than that. But if you put in oils that actually penetrate your strands, now you're adding more moisture. Then I add in the hair cream. This is not a curling cream, it's not a styling product. It's a cream that's designed solely to moisturize your hair. So these are the two creams that I'm using right now. And I used to use Elastic QP and it was fantastic, but then they changed the formula. So I will tell you that if you are at a point where you need to re-up on your supplies, take a look at that label first. There's no law or guidance or anything that requires them to call out when they've changed something. So they may call it new and approved, or they may say nothing at all. So flip it over and see if there's anything that's really, the drying alcohols are really bad to have in a moisturizer. Petroleum and mineral oil are a no-go when it comes to being in moisturizers, because those things are sealing, so it never penetrates your hair. It's made to make your hair look shiny, but it's a temporary fix. So in 2 days, your hair's gonna be dry all over again. You've got to put more product on, and your hair never really gets the moisture. Last step is sealing oils. Right now, I'm using jojoba. I used to use coconut, but jojoba works a lot better. For that section, I'm putting maybe 2-3 drops of oil in total in that quarter section of my head. And I always twist it up, either twist it, bantu knot it, or something along those lines to give my hair a chance to absorb it. No matter what, I keep a shower cap on my head, and you'll see like in each and every step, I still have that shower cap on. It helps to make sure that my hair stays damp, but it also helps to make sure that the heat from my body is helping my hair to absorb whatever I'm putting it in. So now you've got your hair washed and conditioned, you've got your hair nice and moisturized, and now it's time for the last step in a good routine, which is I don't trust when people out in the middle of Corona time. They should be in the house. Alright. Where was I? Okay, so now you've got your hair nice and washed and conditioned. You've got it good and moisturized with the Loco method, and now it's time for the last step in a good routine, to style it for a week. Now, you want to find a style that hits 3 things. It does not have a lot of tension. Hair is fragile. With all the tension, like really tight braids or really tight buns or slicking your edges back really rough, are all going to put a lot of stress and strain on your hair, and it's going to pull it over time. So if you're on a mission of growth, you want to stay away from the tension hairstyles. You want to make sure your scalp can breathe, because your scalp breathing is how your hair grows. If you're really focused on hair growth, you're also massaging your scalp at least twice a week, if not every day. And you can't do that if your scalp is covered. So you want to find a style where your scalp is breathing and open. And the last one is something that's low manipulation, something that you can put in your hair and leave it alone. So whether it's braiding your natural hair, twisting your natural hair, it could be finger coils, it can be a twist out, whatever it is, you just want to find something that meets all 3 of those criteria and that you can stick with for about a week. Basically just use conditioner to wash their hair, because my hair's not that dirty. My thing is, if your hair's not that dirty, then don't wash it. Just leave it alone. So you don't necessarily need to wash your hair every single week. It's totally up to you, but I'll tell you, if you're focusing on growth, pushing out your wash day to a point where it's comfortable is the best thing. So when you're starting out, wash your hair every week, so this way you can learn your hair, you can start to train your hair and understand exactly what it needs. And then as you understand what it needs, you can push that wash day out 3 days and see what happens when you wash it every 10 days. Your hair still likes it, push it out 14. Push it out 3 weeks. I wash my hair about 2.5 to 3 weeks, and that time works for me. Some people can go a month, some people can go a month and a half. Personally, you've got to figure out how it works for you. So how you'll know if you need to wash your hair is if you start seeing little hairs breaking, then you know your hair needs something. If no matter what you're doing, the moisture is not getting in your hair and you can see the buildup. So either your hair is really dull and it's not shining like it used to, or if when you try to add moisture, your hair is not really absorbing the moisture, then you know you've got buildup and it's time to go ahead and wash your hair. You're not washing your hair every week. Then in between washes, make sure you're cleaning your scalp or clarifying your scalp. Check out the video I have on that. and make sure you're always moisturizing it. So still spray it with water, do the loco treatment, and then do a style that's gonna last a week. You shouldn't have any problem with that. And if your hair doesn't like it, then reduce the amount of time in between washes. You have to listen to your hair, but most people I know, you're not going to need to wash your hair every week. It's just not that dirty. And if you're paying attention to the products that you're putting in your hair, and you're not using products that are really harsh or that create buildup, then you shouldn't have a problem with extending your wash day out. If you notice, I did not talk about any special treatments, and that's by design. And by special treatments, I mean like rice water rinses or aloe deep conditions, anything along those lines, because you've got to learn your hair first. So be consistent for those 4 weeks. See what your hair really needs, because what I found out the hard way and the super expensive, time-consuming way is that a lot of the issues that I thought I had really got fixed once I had a consistent routine. So I thought my hair was crazy dry. I had a consistent routine, it wasn't dry anymore. My hair was shedding like crazy. I had a consistent routine, it wasn't shedding the same way. Once you get to know your hair, you can start to incorporate whatever special treatment or addition to your routine that you need. But I would say do one at a time so you can see what's working and what isn't. And try to stay away from changing it up too much. So if you've got a problem with moisture, try to stick with what you're doing and see if that works for a while. Some things don't happen in 2 seconds. So consistency is key, and the easier your routine, the easier it is to be consistent. So remember the 3 core elements of a good routine. Go ahead and incorporate them, be nice and consistent with your routine, and see how much it helps your hair grow over time. So this is Daisha with Curlogic. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to click subscribe below and the notification bell right next to it, and like this video if it gave you some information. All right, thanks for watching.